Did you know that practically every story about Medusa is told wrong? Every person that talks about the Medusa story tells the same fib over and over again. I'm going to explain. Welcome to Black History Decoded, where I give insight into Black or African history that has been misrepresented over the centuries.
Poseidon was in the middle of a conflict with Athena, and he saw Medusa as a possession that he could take from the goddess. Eventually Poseidon grew tired of being rejected by Medusa. He decided that he would take her by force. Medusa, in fear for her life, ran into Athena's temple in the hopes that the goddess would offer her protection.
Remember that word, protection. Also, she has issues with Poseidon, and she is known for wisdom. Keep that in mind as well.
There was no protection given that evening, and Poseidon had his way with Medusa. When Poseidon had finished, Athena did appear, enraged by the events that had just taken place. She decided that she would punish Medusa, as punishment against a god such as Poseidon was considered unthinkable. Athena cursed Medusa. The hair that she was once so envious of, she turned into a head of venomous snakes. Anyone who looked into Medusa's eyes would be petrified and turned to stone.
This is the constant lie they push. Think about it. Poseidon violates Medusa, and Athena punishes Medusa for Poseidon violating her? Now, I'm saying Athena empowered Medusa to protect herself in the future because of what happened to her. She didn't punish her, she gave her the tools to protect herself and the temple. Remember, Poseidon did what he did out of spite for Athena. Athena is aware of this, but she's going to turn around and punish her priestess? Doesn't make any sense, but this is the nonsense that they keep on repeating over and over and over again.
Put the poison in their hair. Oh, can I introduce you to Medusa?
Please.
Yes, Medusa. Get this. Imagine an ancient priestess who has an oil in her hair that has a venom in it, that when she draws her arrow across over her hair that drapes over, she pulls out the venom. She only needs a little bit onto her arrow, and she can shoot you with that arrow and paralyze you. Paralyze you. Turn you to stone.
Athena told Medusa to put venom in her hair that paralyzes and gives her a bow and arrow. So if anybody would try to violate her or the temple, she would use that arrow with the poison from her hair to attack and paralyze that person or individuals. The snakes are symbolic for the poison that's in her hair. That poison applied to the arrow and shot at a person paralyzes that person. It is amazing how they can't figure this out. That's what happens when another culture tries to interpret information from another culture that they don't understand. They come up with nonsense explanations. Another lie is that Perseus is a good guy.
Word spread of the monster that Medusa had become, and she became the target of many warriors who wished to add her head to their list of trophies. All that tried shared the same fate, being turned into stone. Until the hero Perseus, son of Zeus, was tasked with retrieving her head. In order to complete the task, Perseus required aid from the gods.
Danae and Perseus are taken to a king named Polydectes. Polydectes, immediately obsessed with Danae and anxious to pursue her without her son around, sends Perseus off on a seemingly hopeless quest for the head of Medusa.
A king hired Perseus to cut off the head of Medusa, not arrest her or bring her in and put her on trial. No, cut off her head. Sketchy, right? And also, did you know that God stands for Governmental Ordinance Department? It typically refers to a division within government, local, state, or national, government responsible for creating, enforcing, and managing ordinances, laws or regulations enacted by a municipal or local government. The specific duties and structure of such a department vary depending on the country, state, or city, but its main function often include drafting and implementing ordinances, etc., and also enforcement and compliance. So when they say the gods gave Perseus equipment, It was the clandestine government, GOD, Governmental Ordnance Department, that gave him that equipment and wanted Medusa dead.
And what happens to Medusa's severed head? Well, Perseus uses it as a weapon of mass destruction. First, he kills Katos, the sea monster. He turns Atlas into the Atlas Mountains. He petrifies a whole island full of people who've annoyed him. And he turns everyone at his wedding to stone, having killed no one while she was alive. Medusa is used to kill hundreds of people after her death.
She did not kill hundreds of people after her death. That's ridiculous. Most likely, he stole her poison and used it against his foes. But does that sound like a good guy? Also, listen to this.
Flip in the story whereby Perseus becomes the real baddie in this version of the story. Perseus becomes a pirate who's marauding along the coast of North Africa, whereas Medusa is a very stately queen who is then subject to the depredations of the pirate Perseus, who comes along and immorally steals from the land.
Medusa was a priestess that was murdered by a mercenary/pirate. Yet Perseus is always portrayed as a good guy. Medusa got violated by Poseidon, was given the ability to protect herself, but is portrayed as a bad guy. What is going on here? Information is right in front of their faces for the story to make sense, but they choose to put forward this mythological nonsense. The story was purposely manipulated, or they just don't know what they're talking about. And when that happens, I'm going to question everything these people say about history or mythology, and you should too. Always do your research.